On Valentine's Day 1981, the Stardust Nightclub in Artane, Dublin, Ireland was the place to be. A vibrant hub of music and dance. It beckoned young hearts to gather for a night of celebration. Little did they know that this very night would morph into a chilling chapter etched in the city's memory. Artane was a working-class area situated in the north of Dublin, with a high unemployment rate. Many young people in Artane were looking for ways to socialise and have fun, to break free from the confines of daily struggles. Originally built in 1948 as a food factory and converted into a nightclub in 1978 by the Butterley family, it was a popular spot for young people, often crowded on weekends. The club was on the ground floor of a two-storey building. The first floor was the main dance floor, and the second floor was a bar and lounge area. In the early hours of February 14th, disaster struck. An electrical fault in a storage room at the back of the nightclub ignited a blaze that would soon engulf the entire building. The fire quickly spread through the building due to a number of factors. The building was made of flammable materials, wood and foam, a storage room which was also used to store drums of cooking oil and large quantities of cleaning agents, polishes and bleaches, caused the fire to spread with devastating speed. The fire exits were blocked or locked, trapping people inside. The windows were sealed, preventing people from escaping through them, and the club was overcrowded, with over 800 people inside. These factors combined to create a deadly situation. The fire quickly engulfed the building, trapping people inside. Those who managed to escape were forced to do so through the windows, which were small and difficult to climb through. The emergency response to the fire was slow and chaotic. The first call to the fire brigade was made at 1:42 a.m., but it took firefighters 20 minutes to arrive at the scene. The fire was already well established by the time they arrived, and the flames were so intense that they were unable to bring the fire under control for several hours. Amid the pandemonium, acts of courage emerged. Brave souls fought to aid their fellow patrons, while outside witnesses scrambled to alert emergency services. However, the situation was dire. The fire's intensity exceeded imagination, melting the ceiling and enveloping the club in darkness. Patrons groped through the smoky abyss, searching for a way out as the DJ's calm voice attempted to maintain order. Dermot O'Neill, who booked entertainment for the Stardust Nightclub, recalled a crush wall-to-wall of people trying to leave the building after the fire broke out. Within a short space of time, the smoke had taken over. And there was panic, absolute panic. As the sun rose that fateful morning, the Stardust Nightclub had turned into a grim tableau. The victims of the fire were mostly young people between the ages of 16 and 26. The fire had claimed the lives of 48 individuals, shattering families and communities. The injured numbered 214, leaving the city in mourning. In the wake of the tragedy, investigations commenced. Initial claims of arson later crumbled under scrutiny, and the cause of the fire remained a mystery. Despite findings of safety breaches, no one was held accountable for the loss of life. A chorus of voices rose, families, survivors and supporters, demanding accountability and justice. The Stardust fire left a trail of emotional, psychological and social devastation. The state did not provide professional counseling to the victims and their families at the time. As a result, many people struggled to cope with their grief and trauma. In the 1980s, some 25 people attempted suicide in the aftermath of the tragedy. Many others experienced financial hardship, as the deceased had been the family's sole breadwinner. A study by research psychologists in 1995 found that over half of the survivors were still suffering from psychiatric problems. 28% reported that their health had deteriorated, and 17% said that they had not experienced any lessening of their feelings of loss since the tragedy. The lack of support from the state compounded the suffering of the victims and their families. The Irish government's failure to provide professional counselling was a major injustice, and it contributed to the long-term trauma of the tragedy. The memory of the Stardust fire was etched into Dublin's collective consciousness. Christy Moore, a renowned Irish singer-songwriter, penned a ballad that would forever capture the essence of the tragedy. The song, titled "They Never Came Home," beautifully encapsulates the stories of the victims and their families.
Valentine's Day comes around once a year. All our thoughts turn to love as the time it draws near. Sweethearts and darlings, husbands and wives, pledge love and devotion for the rest of their lives. As day turns to evening, soon nighttime does fall.
The song was banned in Ireland at the time of its release because it was seen as being critical of the authorities' handling of the fire investigation. However, the song was eventually released in 1991, and it has since become a popular anthem for the families of the victims and for those who are fighting for justice for the Stardust fire. Memorials were erected to honour the fallen, including the Stardust Memorial Park and a poignant monument at the site of the tragedy. But the quest for justice was far from over. Decades later, the battle for truth and justice found renewed energy. Campaigns and petitions led to a landmark decision, new inquests into the 48 deaths. In 2023, these inquiries began, offering a chance for answers and closure at long last. During a recent interview, the McDermott family, who endured the heart-wrenching loss of 3 of their own in this tragic event, candidly shared their reflections on the profound impact that the fire has left behind. They emphasized the pressing significance of obtaining answers amidst their journey towards healing and closure. The courtroom became a stage for the voices that had been silenced for far too long. Louise McDermott, who lost 3 siblings in the fire, said, "Willie was 22, George was 18, and Marcello was 16. It's been a long time coming today. 42 years campaigning and protesting. 48 died that night. We don't have full closure and don't know exactly what happened. We wanted the truth to come out. How exactly the fire started, where it started, why they couldn't get out, why so many were injured." Bridget McDermott, the mother of the 3 siblings that passed away, said, "After 42 years waiting for this day, I'm very happy to be here. Shame. Shame on my government that we had to wait this length." The Stardust Nightclub fire stands as a tragic reminder of the devastating consequences that can result from a combination of inadequate safety measures, flammable materials, and panicked circumstances. The loss of 48 lives and the injuries sustained by many others are a somber testament to the importance of stringent fire safety regulations, proper building design, and comprehensive emergency planning in all public spaces. The ongoing controversy and unresolved questions surrounding the fire serve as a call to continuously uphold transparency, accountability, and justice, not only for the victims and their families, but also as a commitment to preventing similar tragedies from occurring in the future.